Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, Andy here. I believe this is day 10 of our Christmas/December live streams. In the past, I've spent quite a few Christmases alone, and I know how that feels. So I thought it might be a nice thing for those of you who maybe don't have people to hang out with over the December period. Come here, ask me questions. We can use this as a free coaching session. You can share your wins, share your victories, and I can already see a couple of you putting your victories in the chat. So that's amazing. Yesterday, if you weren't here for the stream, I gave everyone a challenge at the end of it. I said, go take some action in the next 24 hours. It can be the tiniest little baby step, the smallest little victory. I don't care how small it is. And then tomorrow, come and bring it. I can already see two of you writing them in the chat there. Brilliant. We'll get to those in a second. But first, Emmy, who, as you all know, is my lovely girlfriend, has been away and she's been traveling. And she's on a vacation with her mother, and she went back to our old city, Melbourne, and then now she's in Hong Kong. And she sent me a couple of pictures that I thought I would share with all of you because they're freaking hilarious. So she went to this like weird art gallery place, and it was like this like sexual art gallery or something. I promise there's not going to be any nudity, but she's in this like ball pit and she's holding up the balls to her titties, and I was like, haha, very cute. But if you actually pay attention, and I'll try and zoom in so we can see. It's really hard to see because the lighting's like a bit dark. But they're little boobs. They're little silicone boobs. She's in a ball pit where they're all boobs. And then here's an artwork of literally a pussy. Like quite literally a pussycat. I thought that was cute. Here is, well, I'm sure you can figure out what that is. So yeah. Oh, and here's me in front of, I didn't go anywhere. This is just like near my local shopping mall. This is like the biggest Christmas tree I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't fit all of it in the frame. It is literally 2.5 stories tall. I don't know how big that would be in feet, but it's freaking massive. All right, let's have a look at some of your wins. What do we got here? Life of Brandon. Well, of course, you're going to have some sort of win. Life of Brandon, the absolute legend, says, wins. I got back into online dating after you said I was procrastinating. Yeah, I think I can just make a general statement for like basically every single one of you watching. And this is like a general statement, but every single one of you is probably procrastinating to some extent. I do sometimes too. Actually, that's not really true. I don't really procrastinate much anymore. But I used to procrastinate all the fucking time. Let's just say it like that. And so all of you watching could probably take the tiniest little baby step today to move forward towards your goals and to move forward towards the person that you want to be. But we often like consume content, we sit around waiting, we think we have to wait till the right time and all of that. So I love that you took some action. That's amazing. I also just almost approached a girl. I would have if she would have entered her house if she wouldn't have entered her house before I had the chance. Why don't you ring the doorbell, brother? Ring that doorbell. Be like, hey, listen, I'm just a boy standing in front of a girl telling her that she's pretty. Would you like to go on a date with me, pretty girl? Boom, there you go. But yeah, no, good shit, dude. Good shit. Really good shit. Do you want to go out today? Here's my little question / challenge / bit of fun for you. Do you want to go around today and just walk around and give yourself permission to talk to a woman? You don't have to, but try going out with the intention or the permission and walk around for like half an hour and just say, if I see any cute girls, I am allowed to go and say hello to them and ask them out. If I don't, that's okay. I don't have to beat myself up, but I'm putting myself in that position where I have the permission and I can do this if I want to. Is that something that you want to do as a fun little challenge? Phoenix says, I was supposed to go to what I thought was another Zoom meetup. Yep, so for context, a couple of days ago, we gave Phoenix the challenge of going to meetup.com and starting to socialize, whether that be online through like Zoom meetups, where you just do like events and book clubs and conversations and all that, or in person, doesn't matter, just do something. And he did. So I was supposed to go to what I thought was another Zoom meetup this morning, but it turned out to be a YouTube webinar. I'll have another meetup tonight. Okay, I'm curious about that. Like, was someone like teaching you something? Were they selling something? Because webinar usually implies at the end they try and sell you something or they offer you some product or service. Was it like a sales thing? Like, what was this webinar? What was it about? That's really interesting to me. Dr. Chad Broman, the broist. whose win was just having this username in the first place. It says, Phoenix, I saw that you yesterday went to a meetup. Well done. Yeah, like those first couple of meetups that we go to, the first couple of baby steps that we take to start socializing can be really terrifying. A lot of people, especially the ones that come to my coaching group, have never really had like an amazing social life, or they don't have the social skills. And I didn't really have them at the start. That's why I just went to a bunch of meetups and like gave myself permission to suck. But there isn't, I feel like once you come out of college, at least in Western countries, maybe it's different in other countries where they have a bit more of a like community aspect to their society. But at least in Western countries, I don't feel like there's a massive amount of people talking about like, how the fuck do you make friends? Once you leave college, once you're out of school and you're out of college, how do I make friends? What if I'm 30 and I don't have any fucking friends? What do I do? And so I think a lot of people sort of become reclusive, and they either go to like self-medication, like video games and shit like that, or they will just sort of go down the rabbit hole of like, maybe there's something wrong with me, maybe I'm a dork, maybe I'm a loser. And then it can be hard if you don't even have any friends to achieve any goals. It can be very hard to go through life having a good time if you're on an island by yourself. It's very lonely. It can be very hard to do any sort of dating stuff if you don't have any friends, because who's going to pick you up when you feel a bit down? If you get, quote, rejected, and I don't necessarily believe in the concept of rejection, but if you're tempted to say, fuck, I got rejected, this is awful, it's terrible, who's going to make you feel better? Who's going to be there to say like, buddy, you didn't get rejected. She just wants someone else. That's fine. You go find the person that wants you. Who's going to give you that pep talk? So I think there are a lot of lonely people out there. And I don't know if it's gender based. Like, I don't know if men are lonelier than women when it comes to friends. I don't know. You guys can drop your comments and thoughts, and let me know. But yeah, there's a lot of lonely people out there, and not necessarily any sort of instructions of how to make friends. So Phoenix, really good job putting yourself out there. Mr. Dr. Chad, or Dr. Mr. Chad, Broman the Broist, says, win. I'm currently searching for a job in the fitness industry. That's cool. I searched through Glassdoor. So for those of you non-Americans, that's like a website that basically, that shares the salary, right? Isn't that the point of that website? Because we don't really use that website here, but I do know of it. I think it just has the salary, like the amount of money that you're probably going to earn. I think it's slightly different to LinkedIn. Through Glassdoor for a job in that field, I as well realized that trainer for anything with water, swimming, aqua fitness, aquafit are highly searched for. That's cool. Yeah, so you said salary. It shares salary. That's what I thought it was, yeah. Yeah, okay, that'd be cool. So Imi, my girlfriend, obviously, when she was much younger, I think she started when she was like 16 or 15, she was like a swimming instructor for like young kids. Like she would teach little children how to swim. And it's funny, anytime she talks about that job, she's like, that was the most stressful job of my entire life. You're in a group, or like you're running a group of like 5 children and they can't swim. And she said, it's like they don't mean to, but it's like they take every fucking opportunity to drown themselves constantly. And your job is to literally save them from drowning. You're trying to teach them to fucking swim, but they don't know how to. And so by default, they will drown. So you have 5 children, little kids that are just like trying to drown. And she's like, they will just jump into the water before you've had a chance to put the floaties on. And then you have to fucking jump in there. And then there's crying and screaming. And you're like, what in the shit were you thinking? And obviously they weren't thinking. They're a little kid. But she literally said that was the most stressful job I've ever done. She loved it, but she's like, I was there for like 2 or so years, and she's like, these kids just want to die or something. Or they obviously don't know that death is a concept. So yeah, anyway, not to put you off, but she loved that job. She really loved that job. It's just that a lot of kids were trying to drown themselves. But yeah, no, that's cool. Like, big win. And a lot of people that are applying for jobs, this is a very common thing in the coaching program. A lot of people come to us going, all right, I think I want to either change career or get a promotion or just like learn a new set of skills and then completely go to a different sector or industry. I did a coaching call with someone a couple of days ago who she literally was like training herself, or she trained herself to learn to code and to do like data science and all of that. And she was wanting to go into that. She'd been like a chef and something else before that. So like completely different field change. So yeah, that's awesome, dude. Like, good luck with it. You probably already know the purpose or the mission here. play the numbers game, apply for a shitload of jobs, work on yourself in the meantime, which is your resume and your confidence and your interview skills. It's just a numbers game like anything else. Phoenix, I have no idea what in the shit you're talking about here, my brother. I have no idea what you're referring to. Selling on AI platform, but mainly I was expecting we would all be on camera and we weren't. Oh, you're talking about your meetup that you went to. Okay, I got you. So you went to some webinar and they were talking about so it was like a sales thing. Like, bro, they literally tried to rope you into their webinar, and maybe they were honest about it and you just didn't sort of realize what you were getting into. But yeah, that's funny. I thought we'd all be on camera and we weren't. Yeah, lots of webinars, dude. I just like sit there and listen and I'll talk at you. And I never really liked that format. I've only ever done one webinar in my entire life. And funnily enough, it was the threesome video course that I did. The how to have threesomes. And I don't know if you'd call it a webinar, but it was basically like training. So this is going to sound complicated, but the threesome video course that I made, I had written it all out. It was all ready to go. And I had been told by like my mentors, a really cool way of teaching is rather than you just sit there and record the content, which is how I did the Play to Win video course, but rather than doing that, have some people there in the audience, like you're giving a webinar, and you're still going to like teach everything the same. But then at the end of every chapter, you say, do any of you have any questions? Like, you're welcome to come on the microphone or come on the camera, ask questions. You'll be anonymous, so you're not going to be shown in the final product, but people will be able to hear your question and then hear my response to it. And so it's sort of like a live classroom, if that makes sense. And then at the end of it, I edited it all up and like packaged it all up, and that's the how to have threesomes video course. But I taught it as like a webinar or like a live thing, and that was really fun. I liked that because we could go back and forwards, and people could like stop me and say, "Hey, wait, what did you mean by this?" And then I could like answer the question. So that was kind of cool. Chad says, "Phoenix, when's your next meetup?" 7 p.m. Amazing. That's tonight, yeah. You're doing a good job, Phoenix. And go to a couple of these like online meetups, these Zoom ones, and then when you're ready, I would give yourself that little gentle push to start doing them in person. Because like we said, meeting people in person is like the diamond standard or the gold standard. Online meetups are still useful. You're still socializing with people. I have plenty of online friends, but yeah, in person, just always, as you probably know, you can have deeper friendships. You get to hang out more. So you're doing a great job. Keep gently pushing yourself, but you're doing a great job. Phoenix also says, I've been saving all your threesome stuff for later, because hearing about that stuff while I'm on the sidelines is ... not fun. Yeah, and I get that, man. Like, it's very tempting to like compare ourselves to other people or feel like we're missing out. Like, that's just such a common thing. I feel like that too sometimes too. But yes, having lots of sex is incredibly rewarding. Yes, having threesomes is incredibly fun. Like, no shit. Of course it is. It's very beautiful. It's very fun. It's very hot. It's incredible. But I hope this is clear. When I make my content, I'm in kind of like this weird catch-22 place where like I want to inspire all of you and tell you maybe some of the things I'm up to, some of the things I've achieved, some of the things Imi's achieved, and all of that. Like, I want to share that stuff. But then at the same time, I know that a lot of people will then compare themselves to that and say, shit, I'm not having this much sex, or I don't have this much money, or I'm not as happy and peaceful as you are, and then feel like you're falling short. And so, to be very clear, the intention of this channel and everything I put out and everything Cam and everyone else puts out is to inspire you and lift you up, not to like push you down and make you feel bad about yourself. I think that subtlety comes across. I think I do a pretty decent job of explaining like, look, my life isn't perfect. I'm not saying that I'm better. I think I do a pretty good job with that. But yeah, fair enough, Phoenix. Like, you don't have to sit there and make yourself feel bad. But I promise you, if I can give you something, you are absolutely allowed to have as much sex as you want, as fulfilling relationships as you want, as much money as you want, as many threesomes as you want. It's just a matter of like following the recipe, like doing the steps that lead to having that threesome. That's literally all you have to do. That's the point of the threesome guide, is like, just follow these fucking steps and any of you can have a threesome. Like, it's not some weird thing that you have to be entitled to. Just follow the instructions. Same as any goal. You want to make a lot of money, follow the instructions and wait long enough. Like, be patient. You want an elite body, which I don't have yet, but If you want an elite body, follow the instructions and wait long enough. If you want a deep relationship that's very fulfilling, follow the instructions, work on it a little bit every day, every week, every month, every year. Try and be non-judgmental towards yourself and the other person. It's just a series of instructions. But yeah, you're doing a good job. You're going to say, I want to feel what that extra set of hands feels like, though. So it's obviously, you're talking about threesomes. They're obviously hot and they're very fun. Here's the best way that I can explain it, and it's going to sound funny and probably not sexy. But having a threesome, particularly if you do it the way that I explain in the threesome guide, in the How to Have Threesomes guide, it's like sex, normal sex with one person, and then you have an assistant. So it's like normal sex plus one. Normal sex plus my secretary or my assistant. And so you're having normal sex with one person, and then to the other person you say, make out with her. Because I can't, I'm busy doing other shit. So you literally have like an assistant to do the things that you don't have that set of hands for. You could be like playing with one girl's like breasts, and then you say to the other girl, okay, I want you to do this to her. So yeah, it's like more efficient sex in a weird way, but it's also more clumsy sex the first couple of times you have a threesome, because you have no idea what you're doing. And if the two people that you're doing it with don't really know what they're doing, then my God, it's just clumsy in a really exciting, fun way. It's like being a virgin again. It's like you have no idea where anyone's supposed to go, what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to sit or lay down, or who's supposed to do what. And it's this beautiful sort of like you're trying to work towards this beautiful symphony where everyone is sort of in a flow state and they know what they're doing, but you probably won't be at that point at the start. I wasn't. And that's why the very first thing I say in the How to Have Threesomes guide is like, give yourself and them permission to suck, because you're probably not going to know what you're doing unless you've had threesomes before, or they have. So yeah, they're a blast, but it's like normal sex with an assistant. Cam says, sup my ginger. First of all, listen, hey, my beautiful friend, I am not your ginger. Nobody is really anybody's. I belong to the universe. That said, hello, my ginger as well. All right, Phoenix says, talking about threesomes again, clumsy but fun sounds way better than practiced and bored. Yeah, and to be honest, like if you can approach everything in life with that mindset of like, I have no expectations, only curiosity. So like if the 1,000th time you've had sex, and I don't know how many times I've had sex, but if it's the 1,000th time you've had sex and you're able to walk into the bedroom with the mindset of like, let's see what happens, then man, it just becomes novel and new every single time. If every time your partner walks in the door, you look at them as if it's the first time you've seen them, and that's a practice thing. You just practice that. If you're able to take a deep breath and imagine it's the first time you've ever seen them, and it kind of is. We're constantly evolving. We're constantly waking up and being a new person than we were the day before. The person that walks through the door tomorrow is a different person from who they were today. If you're able to see them as a new person every single time, man, the relationship just stays fresh and beautiful. If you can see every new coaching client, for instance, if you're running a business similar to mine, as a complete new person, and you don't bring your assumptions and your fucking baggage to them, which I'm not always perfect at that, but I'm practicing, I'm trying that. If you're able to bring a complete open-mindedness to every customer that you interact with, or every client or every person that you deal with, man, the process is a lot more fun. There's a really good quote that I love. You want to be like the Buddhist monk who wakes up every day and is surprised to see the sun rising. It's like you've never seen it before. You look at it and you're like, holy shit, there's a big ball of fire in the sky. That's amazing. And it's like, yeah, but it was there yesterday. Wow, but it's there today. That's amazing. And so if you can go into the bedroom with that mindset, even with a partner that you've been dating or sleeping with for 6 or 7 years, there's something I practice with Imi. I will look at her and be like, what if this was the first time I was sleeping with her? And then my brain is like, holy fuck, she's hot. What the fuck? I wasn't expecting this. Like, it really is a lot more enjoyable. You also start to see the innocence in someone, and you don't get annoyed by the things that build up. Like if you're, especially in a relationship, it can be very tempting to start being bothered by the things that that person just does, like the little things that maybe at the start of a relationship, you're just like, I don't give a shit. You're hot and you're pretty and I like you. I don't care. But then after 7 years, people can start to get annoyed by those things. If you're able to sort of imagine it's a new, fresh person, all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I don't care that you leave the kitchen messy. What do I care? I can just clean it up. I don't care that you leave your socks on the floor. At the start of the relationship, I thought that was cute. Can I see that as cute again? And that is just a practice thing. So, Combat Jones says, Happy Christmas. No, you know what? Happy Christmas to you, my friend. Happy Christmas to you. Dr. Chad said, I dropped out of studying IT last year and now I have a license for fitness trainer mid-level. That's cool. You obviously did that pretty quickly, dude. That's really cool. Great win. The only annoying thing is that everything in Germany officially needs a hyper-specific certificate. That does not surprise me. Fitting the stereotype there. I don't care. I just apply for the jobs. And if they really need a guy, they can pay for the certificate. Yeah. So a really good example of this, someone that inspired me so much is my father. He, over my lifetime, worked so many jobs that he had literally no qualification for. And you could say was like not entitled to. And you'd be like, how the fuck did you get this job? And it's like, I just worked for like a week or two on my resume and my application for that job. And every single thing that they said they required, I demonstrated why I had those skills, even if I didn't have that specific experience or that specific certificate. And he had the same mindset as you did. He was like, if I don't have a certificate or a training or whatever, I would just do that. It would take me like a week or a month. Like it's not, that's easy. I can be trained up. But what you're getting if you get me is someone who's willing to grow, to learn, to adapt, and who will work 10 times harder than anyone, like blah, 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 all of that kind of stuff. And so he worked so many jobs that he had like no right to work, you might say. He had like no qualifications. He managed like an aquaculture farm, like somewhere that like grows fish. And he built, like he helped them, not like physically build, but he helped them like build and manage the whole system and train other people. He was like the head of it. It was like a very important, very huge job. And he had no fucking experience with fish or running that or training people on that shit. Like no fucking experience. But he put so much effort into his application. And he's like, I don't have any fishing experience or growing fish or farming or any of that. But like, I'll learn that. I'll study that. I'll work my fucking ass off. And you're going to get someone that will... And he wrote this like amazing, like 30-page fucking document about his plan to get really good at this job. And he got the job. He then was like a regional manager, so managing like several different like aged care facilities for the government across like basically the whole state. So really high up position. He knew fuck all about healthcare, let alone like aged care, let alone like managing several different like aged care facilities at the same time. Like he had no right to apply for that job. He got the fucking job. He spent like 2 weeks just like writing down, I know you want experience with this. I don't have that, but here's a different job that I worked where I did have that experience and how I was able to do that. He's worked all sorts of just like weird jobs where he was able to just like leapfrog straight up into a really high paying position, even though he had zero experience. And the fact that he's very intelligent helps. He's very articulate and all of that. But yeah, he's like a great example of someone who had like no fucking qualifications whatsoever. I also did a like whole podcast with Emmy a while ago about how she got a job without any qualifications. Let me show it on the screen. If you just go to my Spotify, you can search for this title. Emmy got a killer job without a university degree or qualifications. She did the same thing. She was in an industry like product design where you're supposed to go to university for like 3 years and then you're supposed to do a 1-year internship and then you get paid. And she was in year like 1 of her degree, and me and my friend Tim basically sat her down and had like an intervention because she wasn't very happy at university. She was doing a double degree with engineering and she hated engineering. And we sat her down for an intervention and we were like, are you happy? And she's like, no, but it's not about happiness. I just have to do what my father wants. You know, her father is like Asian. I just have to do what daddy wants. And we were like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, do you want to do this degree or not? No. And we were like, then what the shit are you doing? And she's like, but I need to do this or I can't get a job. And we said, what do you care about? And she said, product design and art. That's what I care about. But even if I switch to product design, I have to still go to university for 3 years and then get a 1-year internship. And I was like, no, you fucking don't. What are you doing? Why don't you just go to a bunch of like product design places and say, can I have a free internship? And she's like, you can't. You can only do that after 3 years of university. And I was like, you know, that boomer mindset. I was like, bullshit. You just walk in there, you know, with a good attitude and a smile on your face, and you say, hey, listen, can I speak to the manager? And you have a chat with the manager, and then they'll say, hey, I like your gusto, kid. You're going to come in here on Monday. You're going to work for us. She literally did that. Now, she did a bit more than that. She spent like 3 months working on putting a portfolio together to show that she had done some of this stuff when she was in high school, but she didn't have any formal qualifications. She didn't do the 3-year university degree. She didn't do any of that shit. And so she put together this nice little portfolio. She had some of her art in there as well, some of her product design stuff that she'd done in high school. She talked about how excited she was to work there, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she researched a bunch of different like firms, like product design firms that she could go to, put together a little short list, and then we got her to get some muffins and some coffees, and she went to these places and she was utterly terrified. One time she called me, or the first couple of times she called me from her car, and she's like, I can't do this. I'm having a breakdown. I'm crying. I'm having a panic attack. I can't do this. They're going to think I'm a freak. They're going to think I'm a loser. They're going to tell me like I need a qualification or a 3-year university degree. I can't do this. And I was like, you can do this. I believe in you. Just get out of the car and go do it. The first place she went to absolutely loved her, but they didn't have any places like positions available, any internships available. The second place she went to, same thing. The third place she went to, they literally said, come in on Monday. Literally, we like your attitude, kid. Come in on Monday. And she went to work there for free. Like it was an internship. And after like 2 months, they liked her so much that they were like, fuck it, we're going to pay you money. And I think they ended up paying her like 29 Australian dollars, which is like, what, like 19, 20 US dollars an hour, with no fucking university degree. She skipped the queue. And what's funny is part of her job was to reply to and sort through all the emails that the firm would get every single week. And she said so many of the emails, she said there's literally like 100 or 1,000 of these emails coming in every week saying, hi, I've finished my university degree. Can I please have an internship with you now? And she's like, I feel like I cheated. All these people are way more qualified than me, and I'm here earning money and turning them down when they're more qualified than me. And I'm like, yeah, but they have no balls. Like, nothing against them. They didn't know any better. But you have a set of fucking balls. You walked in there and said, I don't have a degree. I don't know what I'm doing, but I think I can help you guys and do something amazing for you. And I think I can be the best intern you've ever had. And she was. That insecurity that she felt, that imposter syndrome, made her work like 10 times harder than you would ever imagine. And so, yeah, she worked there for a while until we eventually moved. She was there for like a year or something, and she loved it. So, yeah, random side tangent, but you can absolutely get jobs without degrees. It just requires you playing the numbers game way more harder than you might have to if you had that certificate or that degree. And you might need to go above and beyond and like put together an amazing portfolio. You will need to acknowledge the fact that you don't have the thing they're looking for. Like, Chad, as you're applying to these jobs, don't just pretend that you didn't notice that you need a certificate. Like, literally say, I know I don't have the certificate, but I will get that in like 1 or 2 weeks of starting the job. Like make it clear. I understand I don't have all the requirements that you're asking for, but here's why it doesn't fucking matter. In fact, here's why I will be better than some random pleb who went to university for 3 years or got a certificate, but isn't or doesn't show initiative. Like, you can kind of think of it like this. In a lot of jobs, if you, nothing against college and university, but it is the safe option. And so in a lot of jobs and industries, if you just deviate around that and go, fuck it, I'm not going to university for 3 years. I can't wait. I want the job now, which is what Emmy said in her like portfolios. And when she talked to people, they were like, why don't you just go to university? And she's like, I can't wait. I'm that passionate about this fucking thing. I don't want to go wait for 3 years. Why? I'd rather work for you for free. And I'll work 10 times harder than any other intern that's come out of university because they play it safe. They are literally complacent. They are taking the easy, safe option and the easy, safe route, and they've gone to university for 3 years. I'm skipping that because I'm so keen to work here. And they were like, holy shit. Yeah, I like that. So sometimes you actually look better if you don't have the certificates and the job requirements, because you look like you're someone that can solve problems. You look like you believe in yourself enough and your own work ability that you will work around any problems and you'll find solutions. A lot of people love that stuff. And so when we're applying for jobs, you don't have to see the requirements as like a deal breaker. Like, you can work around them. Yes, for certain places, it will be a deal breaker. Like, if you're going to work in a hospital and they're like, where's your fucking medical degree? And you're like, oh, I just believe in myself. They'll be like, no, this is like not the industry where you can do that. So sure, that happens sometimes. But in a lot of stuff, especially you talking about like personal training and shit, dude, like you could just get a certificate in like 1 or 2 weeks. And if you say that to some people and apply to these places, they might say, okay, go get your certificate. And then when you come back, you can start. And then you're like, sweet, great. You go speed run it in like a week and then you come back and you get the job. So good job, man. Really cool stuff. All right. James. Mr. James. I get turned on sexually by being possessive and in control in the bedroom, but I feel like this comes from a insecure place. Maybe, yeah. I went through a period too, dude, where I was very possessive with people sexually and a little bit outside the bedroom too. I almost like got off on knowing that a girl was like mine. And that's a lot of BDSM and kink. And I think the lines can be a little bit blurry there because sometimes it's just a fun role play. Like, someone's like, I want to be yours. And you're like, okay, you're mine in the bedroom. And then as soon as you're done, you're like, wasn't that a fun little role play? And then you go lead your separate lives. Like, that's kind of in a healthy way. But if you feel like, and you're pretty self aware, if you feel like for you personally, it might be coming from an insecure place, then yeah, that's something you can work on. You go on to say, how do I build up the self awareness? You're already self aware, dude. Like, you're already asking the question. This is like as self aware as you could ever be. How do I build up more self awareness to not let possessive behavior come outside the bedroom? So, I would actually, funnily enough, get you to read the book, I Need Your Love, Is That True? It is the perfect book for exactly this situation. It's a book on basically like independence, self love, all of that stuff. So, it's this book here, Byron Katie, I Need Your Love, Is That True? How to stop seeking love, approval, and appreciation and start finding them instead. You can also, if you want to, start getting very honest with yourself. Like maybe get out a big pen and paper and write down what you're thinking and believing in the moments where you're wanting to be very possessive, especially outside the bedroom. Like what thoughts are in your head? Or you might phrase it like this. What fears do you have? Do you have a fear that if you don't possess someone, they might leave? If so, that book, I Need Your Love, Is That True? Like literally deals with that. How to be okay with the fact that some people will come into your life, some people will go out of your life, and how you can be equally happy with both. Stoicism will also help you. Working on your own self-love and your own self-esteem will help you. Like the person that truly loves themselves doesn't need to possess anyone or anything. So you could look into a little bit of Buddhism if you want to do that, specifically non-attachment in Buddhism. Like look up Buddhism non-attachment and start going down that route a little bit. But yeah, you're already self-aware, dude. The fact you're already asking this question is like 95% of it. Like literally, self-awareness gets you 95% of the way to your goals, particularly when you're talking about your own behaviors. A lot of people are not self-aware. Let's say 98% of the population are not fully self-aware because it's something you have to learn. Like nobody teaches you to be self-aware. You just kind of learn it by being humbled a bunch of times and going, fucking hell, why do I keep making the same errors of thinking? Why do I keep following down the same path? Okay, what's in my brain? Why am I acting like this? Like it takes usually a lot of humility. Like you have to be humbled a bunch of times before you start practicing self-awareness. So you've already done most of it, dude. And now we're just working on you being a tiny, tiny, tiny bit more self-aware. But you're doing a good job. Dr. Chad says, I see job applications like dating. It is my job to be there and the other person can say yes or no. It's not my job to reject beforehand. Yeah, that's such an important point, man. So many people will reject themselves from dating. I mean, let's just talk about dating for a second. How many people are like, nah, she probably has a boyfriend? It's like, you've just rejected yourself. How do you even know? Why don't you walk up and be like, hey, you look like the kind of girl who has a boyfriend already. Is that true? And then she'll be like, no, actually, I'm single. And you're like, cool. Hi, I'm Dr. Chad Broman, the broist. And she's like, wow, I'm Dr. Felicity Female, the femalist. And you're like, wow, we fucking fit together like, I don't know, what's two things that fit together? Oreo cookies and milk. There you go, brilliant. And she's like, wow, holy shit, you're a wordsmith, Dr. Chad Broman, the broist. And you're like, yeah, I'm just doing my duty trying to impress pretty ladies like you. Would you like to go on a date with me? And she's like, I would like that very much, sir. And then you tip your fedora at her. You're like, all right, my lady, I will pick you up at 8. Tip your fedora one more time, for the ladies. And then you pick her up at 8 and you guys have a beautiful fedora time together. And then you... And then you go on a date together, you tip your fedora a few more times, like at the bartender and shit. And then you say, hey, milady, would you like to go back to my house? You tip your fedora. And then she's like, you know what? The fedora tipping is what sold it for me. You go back to your place, you guys undress, she goes to take your fedora off, and you're like, that stays on. And she's like, oh, Dr. Chad, wow. And then you guys have sex. Anyway, went down a rabbit hole there. But point is, so many people reject themselves in dating for sure. Like, that's such a common thing, dude. Where they're like, why would I talk to this girl? She probably has a boyfriend. Why would I talk to her? She's probably going to think I'm a loser. Why would I talk to her? She's a 10 and I'm a 6. And it's like, First of all, that's just your fucking arbitrary opinion. But what if you walk over to her and you're exactly what she's looking for? And then in her mind, you're a fucking 10 because she's been waiting for a guy just like you. You don't know. You never know till you shoot your shot. And I've been surprised by so many people that I thought would not be into me for all sorts of arbitrary, random, judgmental reasons, like judging them or judging myself, which is often the most common one. We judge ourselves more harshly than we judge other people. Like maybe she looked really nerdy or something. And I was like, nah, she's probably a nice girl. Like, you know, she's not going to be super sexual. And if I walk over and I'm like, tell her that she's sexy, she probably won't like that. But then I say, shut the fuck up, brain, and just go try. No expectations, only curiosity. I walk over to her, I hit on her, and she's just fucking into it. You know, some of my best, most wildest sexual experiences and wildest sexual partners were the like nerdy bookworm Asian girls from China or Vietnam who looked like they would never in a billion years be up for casual sex or anything like sexual. They look like the kind of people that your brain would judge as like, oh, they probably want marriage and kids only. But no, you go and talk to them and yeah, they're kinky as all hell. Like some of the most conservative people have been my absolute wildest, most fun sexual encounters. And then the opposite. Sometimes you see someone who looks like a club girl, so to speak, and she's got tattoos and wild hair and like green hair and all of that. And you're like, oh, okay, she's probably going to be open-minded. You walk over and no, she's looking for a long-term relationship and that's not you. So yeah, when we judge people and when we prejudge ourselves and say they're probably going to say no, or we make an assumption, man, half the time we're shooting ourselves in the foot. There's so many moments that someone would literally say yes to you if you would just take the leap of faith to go and freaking ask. Phoenix says, dating was way more fun than my last job hunt. I landed only one interview for the entire year. Thank God it led to an offer because I had to leave my previous job due to heart problems. Yeah, you only need one person to say yes. Isn't that a beautiful learning lesson? Then I started to burn out of that job due to widespread employment mistreatment. Couldn't afford to take another pay cut. Most of the jobs I applied to may not have existed. So I'm assuming you left? If so, what a beautiful act of self-preservation, self-love, you know? Sometimes we work somewhere where it's just not what we're looking for. Maybe the boss is not super kind or maybe even gets to the point of like what you might call mistreatment or abuse. And then if we leave, you know, it can be very tempting to say, that sucks. Why did I have to go through that? And it's like, no, look at the upside here. The fact that you fucking left, assuming you, Phoenix, did leave, the fact that we leave and walk away from these situations, that is the benefit. That is the victory. You know, I was in some abusive relationships in the past. You know, I was abusive to them and they were abusive back to me. Like, we're both doing equal parts. And I remember the second one that I eventually left, you know, it was this moment where there was a big fight, a big argument, we'll phrase it like that. And I just said, I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. I'm done. Like, that's it. I'm done. And it might be very tempting, and I did for a while, to beat yourself up. I beat myself up for like months after that. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Why did I stay here for like 4 years? Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? But then at some point I was like, wait, I had the courage to leave this. That's incredible. That's the fucking victory. So yeah, as you go on to say, Phoenix, I'm not there anymore, but I moved back home. Yeah, remove the word but. Man, okay, if I can give all of you guys and girls a cheat code to life, remove the word but, except for when it's like very necessary. It's not necessary here. So here's what I'm trying to say here. When we use the word but, like in this context, we are often like taking away from giving ourselves credit. Like, I'm not there anymore, full stop, period. Like, put a full stop right there. I'm not there anymore. Isn't that incredible? I was working at a job that I didn't really feel good at. I felt like there was mistreatment. I didn't really feel like it was what I'm looking for. And I'm not there anymore. I left. What a victory. What an absolute warrior. Plenty of people don't leave. And they play the victim, or they believe themselves to be the victim. They will spend the rest of their life saying, my boss sucks. This job sucks. It's not fair. Why do I have to be here? Oh, this is awful. This is so terrible. It's not fair. Oh, poor me. The fact that you left is an incredible victory. You don't need the word but to take away from some of that victory and to take away from some of that credit that you're giving yourself. So I'm not there anymore, and I moved back home. I have a job lined up, and it's complicated instead of but it's complicated. See how we like reduce our own credit. We reduce our own victories. We reduce our own wins, you know? So I have a job lined up. That's amazing, Phoenix. That's fucking incredible. It's complicated. Cool. You'll solve the problems. You are a problem solver, Phoenix. Look at how many problems you've already solved. You were at a job you hated, and then you solved it by saying, no, I'm going to move back home. I'd rather be at home, even if I feel a little bit of shame. I can sense some fucking shame from you. I feel a little bit ashamed about that, but I'd rather fucking be there than at a job I really hate. So I'm going to solve this damn problem. So whatever complications you get, Phoenix, you will solve them. You can ask us for help and we'll help you, but you're capable. You will absolutely solve them. I've enjoyed not having to look for jobs. Amazing, beautiful. But imagine if you didn't have the word but there. I've really enjoyed not having to look for jobs. It's been beautiful. It's been a really nice break. I feel like I've worked on my mental health and my stability and my happiness. I feel like I've actually had a little bit of peace by not working a job I hate. And then instead of saying the word but next, you say, and I'll have to. There's nothing you have to do. I am allowed to eventually. You're going to say, oh, you didn't finish the sentence. Oh, okay, I get it. That's the end of the sentence. But I'll have to eventually. No, you don't have to eventually get a job. You could never work a job for the rest of your life. You go sit on the street and have a little hat and shake it and people will put money into it and you'll be fine. Or you can go on welfare. Like, that's an option. You're allowed that. Now, if I say to you, do you want to do that? There might be a little part of your brain, you know, the part of the brain that wants to be sort of complacent or safe or comfortable that will be like, I'd love never having to work for a job ever again, but I don't want to be homeless and have to get money or ask for money on the street. Okay, so what do you want? And then you might say, well, I want to look for a job. Okay, so you don't have to look for a job, which makes it sound like a chore. That's why you're procrastinating. I can hear the procrastination in your voice. And we procrastinate when we say the words I have to, or I need to, or I must, or I should. If you ever want to procrastinate, start saying the word should. And your brain will just automatically procrastinate. It's hilarious. You can literally, all of you, practice this today. Look at something in your apartment or your house that, like, you've been telling yourself you should do. Like, I don't know, cleaning the fucking dishes or something. Just look at the dishes. And you know you could clean the dishes in like 5 minutes. It would take you like no amount of time. Why haven't you? And then your brain will go, yeah, you're right, Andy. Why haven't I? I really should. Literally the reason why you haven't is because you've been saying I should. Like, literally just that. The brain gets caught up and stuck when it hears the word should or have to or must or need to. It gets stuck. It like hits a speed bump and it just stops. The brain goes, oh, fuck, yeah, no, you're right. I should. And then it starts defending and it starts like rationalizing and going, yeah, no, you're right. I should get to the dishes. I should. And like, you waste time not doing the dishes. Make a choice. Either do the fucking dishes or don't. But find peace in either one of those answers. And so instead of saying, I should do the dishes, and your brain will procrastinate for the next hour, day, week, month. Some people procrastinate their goals for years. Instead of saying, I should, try this. Try playing around with, like, look into your kitchen. I'm looking at my kitchen right now. Look at your dishes or whatever it is in your house that you haven't done. And try saying, I'm allowed to do that if I want to. Like, that's a choice I'm allowed to make. I am allowed to clean the dishes. And then you sit with that for like 10 seconds. Just look at that and just sit with that. Your brain will start saying, yes, so I should. And you go, no, no, no. There is no should. There is no have to. I'm allowed to. Would I like to? Like, would I like to do the dishes? And whatever answer comes up, sit with that and embrace that and do that. Sometimes the answer will be, no, I kind of don't really give a fuck about the dishes. I've just been telling myself that I should. Okay. Are we here to do what other people or what the guilt-ridden part of our brain wants us to do? Or are we here to listen to our integrity and our higher self and what we actually deeply want? And a lot of the time you'll look at the kitchen and say, do I want to do the dishes? And the answer will be like, well, like, no, but at the same time, I kind of want like a nice clean kitchen. Okay, do I want to do what it takes to have a nice clean kitchen? Do I want the results of cleaning the kitchen? And then your brain will go, shit, that would be kind of nice. Actually, kind of nice. I kind of like when it's like nice and clean. Okay. What if I just clean the kitchen for 30 seconds and see how that feels? You take that little baby step, you start cleaning, and then before you know it, you've cleaned the whole kitchen. You're like, damn, this is nice. You didn't procrastinate. Like, you can get past the whole procrastination problem, which, Phoenix, maybe you're procrastinating with looking for these jobs. You can get past it by stop saying, I have to get a job. Because then your brain will just fight and defend, and you waste all this time going, I should, I have to, I know, but I don't want to, but I know I have to. Like, it's this painful place to be in, and we're not rational and we don't take action. But if you instead start saying, okay, I'm allowed to do the dishes, or I'm allowed to apply for these jobs, would I like to? Or what would I like to do? Your brain might say, okay, well, I don't think I want to apply for a job today. That feels like too much. But I do kind of want to at least like Google. Maybe I'll just Google a couple of jobs in my area and just start that process. And that's all I'll do today. And then tomorrow, maybe I'll Google a couple more. The same way you did with meetups, dude. You were a little bit afraid to go out there and start socializing and all of that. So we said, I literally phrased it. If you go back and watch the tape, I said, would you like to go to a meetup? We went on meetup and I said, nah, come on, man. There has to be some meetups in your area that are cool. We looked through it. And then I said, would you like to go to one of these meetups? Would that be fun? And you did, because I said, would you like to? Now, if I had sat there and said, Phoenix, you have to go to a meetup. You really should be doing this, man, which is how a lot of content creators and coaches and all of that will talk to you. A lot of trainers and coaches will say, you should do this. You have to do this. You must do this. Would you have gone to the meetup? Maybe you would have, but you would have gone once and that's it. And then you would have been like, oh, fuck, this took so much effort and willpower that I can't keep this up. But if I say to you, would you like to? Then with peace and no fight, no internal war, you chose to. And so take ownership of this, dude. Like, that's another thing. When we say, I will have to do this eventually, we're basically making ourselves the victim. We're saying I'm passive. Someone's going to make me do this. I have to. I have no choice. I'm the victim. Take fucking ownership. Empower yourself and say, no, I'm either going to choose to or I'm not going to choose to. And I'm going to own the decision either way. I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to say that like, oh, other people are putting pressure on me. Society puts pressure on me. That guilty part of my brain puts pressure on me. No, either fucking get a job or don't. Either start applying for jobs or don't. But either way, accept and own that decision. And this, by the way, is the key to letting go of guilt and living a guilt-free life, or a very guilt-reduced life, where you take ownership of every decision, even the ones that other people will say are lazy. You go, that's okay. I'm choosing to be lazy right now because of what I'm getting out of it. You get something out of being lazy. You get to work on your mental health. You get to relax a little bit. Sometimes what one person might call laziness is actually you recharging your batteries so that when you come back, you're going to work 10 times harder. That's not lazy. That's very productive and efficient. And so if you let go of the guilt and the labeling and I have to do this and the victimhood and all of that, and just say, what do I want to do? It's far easier to take action. All of that said, you are doing an incredible job. You have already been incredibly fucking brave in this live stream over the last couple of days, man. You are already doing a lot. And now the only question is, would I like to take the next baby step? And go and sit with that for a while and say, would I like to just Google some jobs for 2 minutes today? I don't have to apply to one. Maybe that's too scary. But am I willing to, or would I like to, do I want to apply to a couple, or Google a couple of jobs today and just see how that feels? All right, Faratin, my Turkish friend from Istanbul, says, I just watched your ADHD video. Yes, so the video that he's talking about is called I Have ADHD, a video on learning to love yourself. Basically, how to let go of labels and stigma and stop identifying as negative identities, I guess I would say. And I loved it. Can you give more advice for brushing your teeth easier? It's a real struggle for me. Okay, so I mean, everything I just said. There you go. I just miraculously, without even meaning to, answer your question with everything I said with the dishes. With the teeth brushing, you say, would I like to brush my teeth? Kind of guilt on yourself, and then you're avoiding it and procrastinating it. Because who wants to do something that makes them feel guilty? Like, to even think about brushing your teeth, if that's making you feel a lot of shame and guilt, like, oh, I should do this. I'm a naughty little child who's not doing what mommy and daddy told him to when he was young. I'm being bad. My teeth will fall out and rot and it will be gross. I'm being bad. Like, if that's how you feel about brushing your teeth, then your brain will avoid that. And we make it way harder to do the things that we want when we infect it with guilt and shame and all of that. And you're not meaning to do that. You didn't even know you were doing that. So the first thing would be to get rid of that. And to just start saying to yourself, would I like to brush my teeth? I don't have to. There's no guilt. There's no shame. There's no pressure. But would I like to? And then you think about it. You think about the consequences. If you don't brush your teeth, then yeah, maybe your breath will smell. Maybe you need to go to the dentist more. Like, I don't know. I don't know what all the consequences will be. I can't tell the future. Maybe it'll be fine. Who knows? But maybe your teeth will rot. And so would you like that? And without the guilt and the shame, you look at it rationally and you say, would I like my teeth to, get a bit yucky? No, not really. I don't think I really want that. Okay, what do I want then? We're here to talk about what we want, not what we don't want. What do I actually want? Well, I'd like nice clean teeth and I'd like nice clean breath and I'd like to save money at the dentist. That would be nice. I'd kind of like it if people looked at me and they're like, wow, this person takes care of themselves. Yeah, I think I want those things. And then you say, okay, would I like to do the steps that are required to get those things? Brushing your teeth might be part of those steps. And then the question comes up, like, do I want to do that? The answer is probably, like, I can't predict it, but the answer is probably, yeah. Wait, why the fuck wasn't I brushing my teeth? And as soon as we let go of this whole procrastination game that we play where we jerk ourselves off, we basically masturbate over procrastination. It's really funny. The brain loves to be a victim. It's one of its favorite hobbies. Like literally, the human brain loves to be a victim of everything, of circumstance, of other people, of ourselves, of life, of the universe. We feel like a victim of just being born sometimes. Even though that was a beautiful gift that was given to us, we treat it like victimhood. And so our brain loves to be a victim and it loves to go like, oh, I have to brush my teeth. This sucks. And it's like, no, you're an adult. Take ownership of this. If you don't brush your teeth, there might be outcomes that you might not want. If you brush your teeth, there might be outcomes that you do want. Which one do you want to consciously choose as an adult, not a child? And I'm not calling you a child, but I'm saying like the brain chooses to be a child. Children are victims. Children say, I'm a victim. That's why they can't consent to stuff. It's why we don't let them vote because they don't have agency yet. And so part of becoming an adult, and again, I'm not calling you specifically a child, but part of becoming an adult is starting to take ownership of every decision that we make and saying, look, no one's making me brush my teeth. There's literally no one standing there with a gun to my head making me brush my teeth. That happened when I was a child. Yes, my parents would have fucking done everything they had to do to make me brush my teeth. Then I was a victim. Then I didn't have a choice in it. Not that you're a victim, but like I didn't have agency as a child. I had to brush my teeth. Like I had to. I didn't know there was any other option. Now I'm an adult and no one is making me brush my teeth. Which outcome do I want? Bad breath and teeth that maybe get a little bit rotten? Or would I like really nice, clean, white teeth that people say, wow, you have nice teeth and nice breath and people want to kiss me and all of that? And I feel happy in myself. Which outcome do I want? And then go down that route. And there's no guilt or shame either way. Like you might hear all that and literally go, you know what? I'm a Buddhist monk and I don't, not that Buddhist monks don't brush their teeth, but I want to be some hermit in the forest and not care about teeth and brushing and all of that. I literally don't want to brush my teeth and I'm going to choose that. And whatever comes with that, I'm going to own that. Yes, people might not want to be around me. My teeth might fall out. It might cost me money at the dentist, but I really don't enjoy brushing my teeth that much that I'm going to choose not to brush them. Cool, great. Own that. There will be outcomes, but you don't have to have guilt or shame in that. You don't have to beat yourself up for those outcomes if you're consciously choosing them. And this is you starting to go down the pathway of what you choose as an adult rather than being sort of like childlike, which is how most people in society are. Most of us are children and we're slowly learning to become adults. A child does what other people tell them to do. A child does what other people think is best for them. But an adult says, no, I'm going to, with open eyes, look at all the different outcomes or consequences of these choices. And if you don't know the outcomes, you can Google it and research. There's enough books and shit out there that you can figure it out. But I'm going to figure out which potential outcome I want and go in that direction. So do whatever you want. This is why we say do whatever you want. But yeah, great question. This was a cool question. I like weird questions like this that are maybe a little bit out of the norm of like, how do I sleep with a woman? Nothing against those questions, but thank you for the very interesting questions that all of you give me, like these ones. All right, let's find some more questions. Hey, that's a cool quote. I've never heard that quote. I've read bits and pieces of the Christian Bible, but I'm still working my way through it. Let your yes mean yes and your no mean no from the Bible. No place for buts, maybes, etc. Yeah, so that's basically what I'm talking about here, where I'm saying like take ownership of decisions. You know, like if you're choosing not to brush your teeth, figure out what the consequences, like research what the consequences of that will be. And then if that's what you want to do, fucking do it. Like don't sit there and go, oh, I know I should do something. Like who gives it? Do what you fucking want. I've done a bunch of videos about this on my channel. You can search for I broke all the rules, I think it's called. I'll find it here and I'll put it on the screen. So just search Andy Wells broke all the rules. And I literally went through like my whole life and I thought of like, or I wrote down, I don't know, like 30 things that people will tell you you have to do. So it's these 3-part video here, these 3 videos here. Just search for Andy Wells, I broke all the rules. So I talk about like 30 different rules that society had told me that you have to do. Like you have to be a strong, stoic alpha male who never cries. Like boys don't cry, like stuff like that. I just went through like every single one of these rules or memes and how I've found peace and happiness and how I've been a more effective human and had more integrity and felt more love and joy and all of that by going more in a direction of what my higher self wants. So, in other words, listening to my heart, like literally that cheesy saying that people have told us since the dawn of time, follow your heart. I've actually found a lot more peace in following my heart. There's a book on this called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. And the number one regret that people have when they die is, so it's this book right here. The number one regret people have when they're dying is, I wish I had lived a life more true to myself instead of the life that others wished for me. In other words, exactly what Dr. Chad Broman is saying in this quote. Like, when it's a yes, fucking say yes. When it's a no, fucking say no. Like, have the integrity to actually tell the truth and say what you want instead of what you think other people want you to hear. And obviously, we match that with compassion and love and kindness for other people, you know? But along with that, doing what you want and having your own integrity is just such a beautiful life. So again, books that help with this. I mean, my Play to Win video course helps with this. The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying helps with this. I Need Your Love, Is That True? By Byron Katie. That helps a lot. There's lots of books on this stuff, but yeah. Mr. James says, I want to have a non-monogamous relationship one day. Amazing. But I don't know what feelings will come over me once that relationship becomes real and concrete. So imagine if you had, and wait there 1 second, brother, because I'm going to get something for you that'll help. Imagine if you had this mindset. I have no expectations, only curiosity. Imagine if you weren't trying to predict the future. Imagine if you weren't so terrified of your own potential feelings that haven't even come yet, as if feelings are something to be afraid of. And that's not just you, dude. Like, most people are terrified of their own feelings or their own potential feelings. But imagine if you just said, you know what, I'll be fine, she'll be fine, we'll work it out, we'll figure it out. We'll be two imperfect human beings who will maybe make some mistakes. They're not even mistakes, they're learning lessons. And we will stumble, we will fall, we will pick ourselves up. Maybe we stay together, maybe we break up. Either way, it'll be beautiful. We will have at least learned something. And as long as I go in there and with kindness and compassion in my heart, I try and do my best, then that's all anyone can ever ask of me. There's a quote from Mother Teresa that I really, really, really like. I got to try and find it and put it on the screen here, because it's such a beautiful representation of what I'm trying to talk about here. Here you go, here you go, here you go, this quote. This quote here. I prefer you to make mistakes in kindness than work miracles in unkindness. So, point of that quote is, you, my friend James, if you do decide to get into an open relationship or a non-monogamous relationship, you will probably not be perfect. You will probably make some, quote, mistakes. I call them learning lessons. You can call them mistakes or failures or whatever you want to call them. You probably won't know everything that you could possibly know. Another way of phrasing that is 10 years into a non-monogamous relationship, you will know a lot more than on day one. And so the mission is not to walk into a relationship of any kind. Doesn't matter if it's non-monogamous or monogamous or whatever. It doesn't matter. The mission is not to walk in on day one and be an expert. How could that even be possible? If you haven't done this before, how could you possibly be good at this? And so your mission is to be humble. Your mission is to go in there and, yeah, you might try and do the best that you can, but you might make some mistakes. But as long as you're trying to do that in kindness, as long as you have a positive intention, and here is the intention to have with any relationship, I want to leave this person better than I found them. That's sort of another Mother Teresa quote. Spread love wherever you go. Let nobody come to you without leaving a little bit better off. If that is your fucking mindset, then perfection in a relationship is, if anything, counterintuitive. Because you'll try too hard to be perfect. In the moments where you can't be perfect, you'll get frustrated. You will take that out on your partner, and you'll expect them to be perfect, and you'll expect the relationship to be perfect. And a lot of people do that, don't they? They get very upset and have very big arguments and fights because they're deathly afraid of admitting that they don't know what the fuck they're doing in a relationship or in life or in general. Most people are too terrified to say, all right, I give up. I have no idea what this life thing is. I don't understand anything. I don't have all the answers. I don't know if there's a God, or I don't know if there's an afterlife. I don't know what the fuck the point of life is. I don't know if there's a meaning. I don't know if there's a purpose. I don't even understand that universe thing. It's fucking big, and that kind of scares me. The concept of infinity terrifies me. The Big Bang, what the fuck is that? Evolution, what the shit? We used to be monkeys? I don't get anything. I don't understand anything. I don't even understand how to merge properly in traffic or when to indicate. I don't get why I get honked at sometimes. I don't get how come I wake up and sometimes I'm tired and sometimes I'm happy. I don't get why sometimes I'm sad and sometimes I'm having the best day ever. I don't understand anything. Like, almost nobody is willing to admit that. But if you are willing to admit those things, which is true for basically all of us, like I will be the first person to say, I don't always know what the fuck I'm doing. Sometimes I kind of think I might have some idea. Usually it's when I get out of my own way and just let things happen on their own accord, let the universe handle the shit that's not my business. Then I start to feel like, oh, okay, stuff's going okay. But most of the time, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have some big answer to the meaning of life. If you can admit that, and show up to a relationship with that humility and that giving yourself permission to suck and that curiosity instead of expectations, it will go a lot better. One of the best things that Imi and I, my girlfriend and I, been together for 6.5 years now, one of the best things we ever did at the start was just admit to each other, face to face, eye to eye, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in relationships. And she was like, neither do I. And I was like, no, I really don't know. And she's like, yeah, no shit, neither do I. I have no idea. And I was like, okay, are you willing to build this relationship? And maybe we can talk about it every day or talk about it once a week and work on it, improve it. Like, are you willing to make progress with me? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to improve it? And she's like, yeah, whatever it takes. And I was like, okay. So we accept the premise that we suck at this and we're like, probably shouldn't even be in a relationship if you're going to judge it. We're probably two terrible people at relationships and we're probably going to make a lot of mistakes and not know what we're doing. There'll be learning lessons, but holy shit. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, maybe one day we can get to a point where we're decent at it. Is that something you want to do with me? And she's like, yeah, I really do. And so we made that commitment. It was about 9 months into being casual. You know, we were casual friends with benefits for about 9 months. We slowly grew closer and closer. And then we had that big discussion. And we're like, okay, let's do this seriously. Like, what does it take? What would you like from a relationship? What are you trying to get out of it? Like a serious relationship? What am I trying to get out of it? What things are like a deal breaker for you? Like you really, really, really require them in a relationship? What things do I require? Are we willing to give that to each other? Like, do we want to? And we sat down and we systematically, every single day, week, month, and year, have worked on making the relationship 0.1% better at a time. It's been tiny little baby steps, a tiny bit at a time. And after 6.5 years, now we're at a point where we're pretty fucking happy. We don't really ever argue. I think it's been like 1.5 years since we had an argument or a fight. Like, I can't really see us arguing or fighting anymore. It might happen, like, but who knows? But yeah, this is just the mindset of starting from humility. I suck. Like what you've written here, James, is beautiful. Like, I don't know. Like, look at that. Bro, you're in such a beautiful position. You think it's a bad thing that you don't know what feelings will come up. No, just the word or the phrase, I don't know, is a beautiful place to start from. Remove the rest of your sentence. Like, I don't know what feelings will come over the relationship. Like, just say, I don't know. I don't know. And sit in that. Like, actually sit in that and embrace that and say that to anyone that you start building a relationship with. Say, I don't know what the future will hold. I have some wants. I have some desires. I have some goals and things I'm working on, but I can't predict the future. I don't know if we will ultimately be together and have marriage and kids and all that shit that we want. I don't know, but I'm willing to try. I'm willing to work on it. I'm willing to improve it day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. I'm willing to do everything I can to help you be happy and facilitate your happiness and my own and work on my own self-love. I am willing to build my own beautiful independent life so I don't need you and rely on you. And then you build your life and I can help you with that and encourage you. And then we come together and form something, you know, more than the sum of its parts, something greater than the sum of its parts. Are you willing to do that with me? And you find the people that are. So yeah, you don't have to know what you're doing, James. Like, that is never the mission. All right, Carrie says, I am definitely one of those women that love to have a long-term relationship. Beautiful. I'm a one-woman, one-man sort of thing. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Careful, Carrie. You got to save some of those exclamation marks for the rest of us. But I love your enthusiasm. I'm in absolute awe of people who want to have more than one special person. Yeah, it's like that. You know that quote or that saying, different strokes for different folks? You know, I do the same thing. I can completely understand the beauty of monogamy. Like, I can completely get it. Believe me when I say I really, really, really understand it. But for me, I'm just like, that's beautiful, but I like this other thing. Or that's beautiful and I like this other thing. You know, it's like you go to an ice cream store and you see all the different flavors and you see someone having vanilla and you like chocolate. You can appreciate that they want vanilla, but you're like, that just doesn't, that's not my thing. That's just not what I want. So yeah, it's kind of like that. But I'm really happy for you. I love that you know what you want. I always get really happy when people share stuff like this, when they're like, all right, I've figured out what I want. I literally want this. This is the thing that I want. Because I don't know if you're in a relationship right now. Like, I don't know. But if you're not, then the mission is, all right, I just go out there and I be very honest and upfront. And if I meet someone that seems to want something a bit more open, then I'm just like, I shut that down and I'm like, hey, like, I think we just are looking for something else. Let's go separate ways. And so you can be more certain of what you want and more honest and upfront with everybody. And then you're infinitely more likely to get it. A lot of dating, and I'm not saying you're doing this, Carrie, I'm just speaking in general here. A lot of dating is people being very vague. Like, excuse me, they know what they want, but they're being very vague to people that they're communicating with. And they just kind of hope that they get the thing that they want. And they will vaguely hint at like what they want. And they'll hope the other person will pick up on the signals. And then they'll get very frustrated if it goes down a sort of different path. And then they kind of feel like they have sunk cost fallacy. And they're like, oh, but I've been dating this guy for like 3 months. And like, I don't think he wants something serious, but like, I don't want to have wasted the last 3 months. And so then the answer is, well, their answer is, so I'll just keep wasting the next 3 months. But that's kind of how the brain works. It feels like it's wasted time already. And it's like, oh, maybe I can convince him to be in a long-term relationship with me. I had a friend years ago who was in a marriage for 9 years. He was married for 9 years. And the entire time he knew that he never wanted children. Like, he knew it. He just knew it. He also knew that his wife, again of 9 years, absolutely wanted kids. And for both of them, it was a deal breaker. Like, absolute deal breaker. And do you know what they both did? They both just stayed in a marriage for 9 years, hoping that the other person, or that they themselves, like one of them, would miraculously just change on this thing that was this like huge, big deal breaker for him. Like, he had no intention of raising children. And it got to the point where I think they were like 29 years old, so about to hit 30. And she gave him an ultimatum. She's like, what are we doing? Like, what are you doing and what am I doing? We've been married for 9 years and I love you to pieces. You add so much to my life. But I don't think you want kids, do you? And at that point, the answer would have been several years prior, break up, but they didn't know that. Sometimes it takes a while. We have to get to the end of the rope, the end of the tether before we realize, oh shit, this train line isn't going the way that I want it to. In fact, it's kind of going off a cliff if we keep staying on this train. Maybe I'm going to stop the train or jump off. But he, in his mind, was starting to get tempted to just have kids. And they were literally at the point where like he was just going to give her kids. And imagine what it might be like. Like, maybe he learns to fall in love with the kids, but he really didn't want kids. And imagine growing up as a child knowing, and maybe you find out one day, maybe you never do, but maybe you do find out one day that daddy really didn't want you, but he just was scared to break out with mummy. Like, that's a big burden. And so luckily, she actually had the, I guess, boundaries or self-respect or whatever you want to call it, the courage to say, I don't think you're actually going to be happy if we have kids. I don't think you want this. And he was kind of reassuring her and being like, no, please don't leave. Like, I promise I can learn to be happy. Like, I do want kids. And she just didn't believe him. And she's like, I don't think I believe you. And they broke up. And I met him a couple of years after that. And, you know, he filled me in and told me all of that. And I said to him, do you think you would have, like, if she hadn't broken up with you, do you think you would have had kids? And he said, yeah, I would have. And I said, do you think that you would have been happy? And you can't know the future, but like, just take a guess. Do you think you would have been happy? And he's like, nah, no way. Nah. I think we probably would have divorced like 5, 10, 15 years later. Because I think that I would have eventually worked up the courage to leave. I think I was just trying to work up the courage, but I didn't know how to be the one to leave. And I'm glad that she did. I'm grateful that she did. I wish her all the best. I love her to bits. I still love her so much and she loves me, but that was the right decision, or that was the decision that brought us happiness. So everything I'm saying there is, in relationships and dating, people are often afraid to just say what they want. And then if they find someone that doesn't match with them or doesn't want what they want, a lot of people are very afraid to just say, I don't think we want the same thing. Like, a lot of people are really terrified of hurting other people or hurting themselves, or what if I look like a bitch, or what if I look like an asshole? What if she thinks I'm a fuckboy? What if he thinks that I'm too clingy or needy if I say I want a relationship? But if we can get more clear and honest and upfront and have that integrity to listen to ourselves and say, this is what I really want. This is what's in my heart. Like you've written here, Kerry, this is what's in my heart. This is what I want. Like your only mission, if I don't know if you're single or not, your only mission is to go tell people this. Like what you just wrote here is beautiful, by the way. Imagine if you say this to guys. Hey, I'm someone that would love to have a long-term relationship. I'm a one woman, one man type of thing. Like, I find that so beautiful. It's just so meaningful to me. I want to be like that Hallmark Christmas card, beautiful couple. Like, that's what I'm looking for. Is that what you're looking for? And some guys would be like, maybe. And then, no, thank you. Or they're like, maybe one day. No, thank you. But you'll find a guy who's like, holy shit, woman. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. You're like, cool. Do you want to date each other and see if we can get to know each other and work on that? So yeah, beautiful comment. Dysepic dude 23. That implies that there are either 22 other dysepic dudes, or that you're 23 years old, or that 23 represents something else that I don't know. So have you or any of your clients ever used FetLife to get laid? Yes. Is it basically like dating apps? Like yes and no. I went on FetLife for a really long time and put a metric ton of effort into it, as in I had all my and Imi's BDSM artwork and photography that we'd done, as well as a few others like threesome BDSM photos that women were happy for us to put on there. So we had really ridiculously professional photography on there, showing how good we are at BDSM and all of that. I had my YouTube channel so that people could go and check that out and see how Imi and I like to do BDSM, because we talk about that in quite a few videos and stuff and all of that. And we probably got like, I don't know, 30 phone numbers over the course of like, I gave it a really good go, like a year, and we didn't meet with a single person. I found a lot of people on FetLife are on there wanting to get into the lifestyle of BDSM or wanting to explore kink, but then when it comes to actually meeting up, very nervous or very scared, even when we made it very easy. Like we literally say, we're not going to have sex on the first date. We're just going to go to a coffee shop and hang out and see if we like each other. I just found time and time again, so many people were about to meet up with us, but then just flaked. I never did this, but what I've seen with other clients who've had way more success with this is rather than using it like a dating app, which just even some of them have found not as effective. Again, lots of people will give them a phone number and then just like not meet because they get scared to meet up at that moment. Because it can be quite intimidating to try like kink and BDSM if you've never tried it before. But what those clients have found more success with, because quite a few of them have met people, is going to the events that are on FetLife. So I would look at FetLife almost like meetup.com. And there are a bunch of like kinky events. And I've had a lot of coaching clients go to those kinky events and have orgies and gangbangs and meet people at the event and take their phone number and then meet them up for a coffee later and then have sex with them like after 1 or 2 or 3 dates. So I would use it more like meetup. And that's how FetLife presents itself. Like there are barriers in place to not let you DM a lot of women, like a lot of people. It specifically says, please don't message a lot of people. That's not what this is for. Like it makes it pretty clear this is not meant to be a dating app. People do meet each other through it, but more by talking a fair bit and keeping it sort of friendly first, or going to a meetup or a sex club or sex events from FetLife and networking and socializing there. So yes, absolutely you can. I have never gone to any of those sort of events because if I'm honest, I was just always very nervous. Funnily enough, it might sound like a funny thing to say, but I've always been shy around sexuality in public. Like going to a sex club or a sex event is something that I want to do. It's on my bucket list and I probably will do it before I die. It's something Imi really wants to do, and Bronwyn, the girl that we're dating, is really down to go and check one of them out. I've just been the nervous one, but I'll probably do it at some point. But yeah, using FetLife more as like, I'll go on there, I'll see what events are in my city, I'll see what meetups there are, I'll go and check out the place. Maybe we can go to an orgy and do some kinky stuff, or maybe I'll just go there and network and talk to people. And yes, I've had quite a lot of clients that meet people through that, but by going to the actual events. And your mileage may vary. Like you might use it like a dating app and some people match with you and it's brilliant. I don't know. But I just really tried for about 6 months, maybe even a year, and just didn't work out at all. Mo says, I'm new to dating and I started seeing a girl, trying to rebuild my life, finding a job and school. But because dating is so new to me, I'm seeing this girl a lot and not being disciplined with goals. Do you have any advice? Yeah, man. So I have a whole lot. Let me find it for you. if you go to my channel and go to the playlists button, it'll probably be in the relationship. I'm trying to remember where I put it. It's probably in the relationships playlist. So let me put it on the screen here so we can have a look what I'm talking about. All right, so go on my channel, click on the words playlist here, and then scroll down a bit, and there'll be one about relationships, this one here. So click on view full playlist, and I have, if you scroll all the way down the bottom, I believe there's a few, yeah, so this one here, down the very bottom, don't rush into relationships. I like to grow them organically over 6 to 12 months, so I would go check that out. What else have we got? Women are on your team. That one will be useful. How to keep your independence in relationships. That one will really help you. What else? Don't stop improving yourself in a relationship. I talk about that. Yeah, I would probably just start with those three. Yeah, those three are more than enough to start with. You can also grab the book. So after you've watched those, you can grab this book here. I Need Your Love, Is That True? It's literally a book on like how to keep your own independence, like how to keep your sense of self. That's what we're talking about here. And something that can really help with this mindset is it's not that this girl that you're dating is bad and that you need to push her away. No, it's that you're working on your own independence and your own integrity and keeping your own sense of self. So it's not about pushing the other person away. It's about turning back towards yourself. It's about remembering that there's a person here, you, who has goals and hopes and dreams and life and all of that and cares about those things. And so it's less about pushing the other person away and seeing them less, and it's more about seeing yourself more. So again, that book, I Need Your Love, Is That True? Helps with this. But remember that this person is on your team. This girl probably likes you. Like, that's an assumption. Otherwise, she wouldn't be dating you. And you probably like her. No shit. She is your teammate. She is not the enemy that you need to push away. And you're not asking that question. But I'm trying to make this clear. You're not pushing her away. She's your teammate. What you just wrote to us, which is really self-aware and incredible, by the way, and very brave of you, what if you say this to her? What if you say to her, hey girl, I like you. You clearly like me. Is that true? And she'll say, yes, I do, Mo. You're really cool. And you say, good. However, I have some goals, or I like you, and I also have some goals, some things that are really important to me. Here is all of them. And tell her all of them. And she'll go, wow, those are amazing, Mo. And then you say, I would really like to keep my focus on these things. And because I like you a lot and we're seeing each other a lot, I'm feeling that sometimes I'm getting a little bit complacent and I'm not spending as much time on my goals. It would mean a lot to me as someone that cares about me and that I care about you as well. It would mean a lot to me if you could help me with accountability. Like, could you help keep me accountable? And she'll go, sure, like, what do I need to do? What do you want from me? And you say, okay, how about this? Once a week, what if we have an accountability check-in, which is something that Imi and I have done every day for the last 5.5 years. And on this day, we will ask each other a bunch of questions and write these questions down ahead of time. Have these questions already written out. And you ask basically the same questions each week. You can change them over time, but they'll probably remain basically the same. And one of the questions might be, did I, Mo, keep my independence and work on finding a job and school? Like, how much time did I spend this week working on the job and the school stuff? And she will have her own questions that you ask her. Like, maybe she has her own goals and you ask her accountability questions to help her with her goals. And so you guys will meet once a week, or you can do it over the phone if you want to, but it's easier in person. Meet once a week and spend an hour or 2 hours talking about each other's goals and what you want and what you're working on. And you keep each other accountable. And if one week, she says, how is the job hunt going? How is school going? And you go, God, if I'm honest, I didn't do much because you and I spent so much time together this week. I don't know, I just kind of got a bit complacent. Because she cares about you and you have recruited her as your accountability partner and you're her accountability partner, she will say, okay, what do we need to change then? Because I love you, or I like you, and I love spending time with you, but you told me how important job and school is to you. You told me this was very meaningful to you. And as someone that cares about you, I want you to succeed at those things. So would it help If maybe we have 2 days a week that we're not allowed to see each other, and then you say, oh, but I'd miss you. And she goes, I know, honey, I'd miss you too. But I want you to succeed. I like you. I care about you. And so would it help if we do that? And you go, okay, yeah, all right, okay. What about like Tuesday and Friday? And she goes, yeah, that works for me. Okay, how about on Tuesday and Friday, we're not allowed to even maybe we can message each other once in the morning, maybe 2 times in the morning, and then we'll say we can't message each other until 5 p.m. And then at 5 p.m. we can do whatever we want. But then I have that whole time from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if I don't stick to that, can you please call me out and be like, hey, you said no messaging. Remember, Mo, you told me you wanted me not to message you, so don't message me. Or you can message me, but I ignore it until 5 p.m. And she can keep you accountable. And you guys will both practice this. You might suck at that accountability at the start. Accountability and having boundaries and sticking to it, sticking to the plan is something that takes you a little bit of time to practice. But she can help you. This is all I've ever done with Imogen. And I have a few other accountability partners too. But there have been times just like this, brother, when I have said to her, I really want to build the coaching business. I'm sick of being stressed about not paying the bills. Can we please not see each other once or twice a week? We right now, like Imi and I, every Sunday, we don't see each other. Like we've made that our independent day. And so we message a little bit in the morning until like maybe, I don't know, 7 a.m. We can do whatever we want before 7 a.m. We can call each other. We don't see each other in person, but we can text. But then once it hits like 7, maybe 8 a.m., we don't message each other. And if we want to message each other, we save it. Like we write it down, we type it out and we schedule a message. You can use something like Telegram that has scheduled messages. So we'll schedule everything for 5 p.m. And then it's funny, at 5 p.m., my phone will start blowing up with all the messages she sent me. And her phone will blow up with all the messages I sent her. But it means we have like 7 or 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. So a full fucking day of not talking to each other. And then at 5 p.m., we still don't meet each other. We still have the whole day by ourselves. And if we do message, it's not going to be a lot. It's like, all right, honey, I hope you have a beautiful day. After we've sent all those scheduled messages, we're just like, honey, have a beautiful night. That's it. So it's still a day by ourselves. We message a little bit before like 8 a.m. and a little bit after 5 p.m. But most of the day is by ourselves. And that has been so unbelievably helpful for both of us to work on our goals. So everything I'm saying here, Mo, is that this woman can help you. Phoenix kind of said the same thing, brother. He's like, maybe this woman can help you find a job. Like she can be your accountability partner. A lot of times in dating, we see the other person as like a barrier to our happiness, or we see it as like, they're going to stop me from being independent. Like they're going to make me get complacent. No, they can be the very person, like the person you're afraid of getting too close with can be the very person to help you feel like you still have your own independence. Like literally she can help you with that. So yeah, I really love this question. This is such a cool question, my brother. Like what a great question. But yeah, man, like she can help you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm starting to get a little bit tired. I'm starting to lose my voice. I think I woke up with a cold. So we will start maybe speed running the rest of your questions, which will probably take, I don't know, maybe another 20 minutes. And we'll aim to finish up about 20 minutes from now. So if you got any last really simple questions, drop them down there and, you know, we'll speed run through them. Or if it's a big question you'd like me to spend a little bit more time on, then just bring it tomorrow and we'll get to it tomorrow. All right. Speed run time, ladies and gentlemen. Vlad. Hey, Andy, I want to say thank you for the recommendation to get Luxury of a Negative Thought. So the book is called You Can't Afford the Luxury of a Negative Thought. Yeah, it's one of the best books that I've ever read on positivity. I actually found that book in prison, funnily enough. What an amazing fucking book to find in prison, by the way, in exactly the place where you would want a book like that. So that was where I first found that book. You go on to say, I'm still reading through it and I was wondering if it has a segment talking about overthinking. It's been a pain point for me for years, especially when it comes to dating and women. Yeah, it does. But what might help you even more, brother, if you don't already have this, is the Play to Win video course. There's a chapter in there specifically on overcoming like fears, limiting beliefs and all of that. And overthinking is just a fear. It's like you overthink because you're afraid of stuff. So go grab a copy of the Play to Win video course if you don't already have it. And there's this chapter here, overcoming fear, limiting beliefs, and self-doubt. There is also this chapter here, everything that happens to me is good. That helps you stop overthinking. Every problem has a solution. Like if you just start focusing on the solutions and what you can do to improve something, rather than overthinking the problem, that will help. Basically, the entire freaking video course is about how to stop overthinking. So go check that out. If you haven't already got a copy of that, you can pay whatever you want for it, even if it's $1 Dollar. Pay me $1, get the video course, have fun. You're going to say it has been it has become such a tragic thing that it's acknowledged that it happens, yet it pulls like some sleight of hand BS Phoenix. I'm not sure what you're referring to. You might be referring to something Phoenix said, so I'll skip that. Obvious throwaway. Good evening, y'all. Hello, we're about to finish up soon, my friend. I know you wrote this comment like 20 minutes ago, but yeah, we will be finishing up soon. All right, let me read through the rest of your comments. You're all talking about like becoming sterile. Phoenix, you're talking about getting a vasectomy. I got a vasectomy too. It was your choice. Yes, it was. Good job owning that choice. Like, great. And then you don't need to be like, people will question it. I can see a couple of people in the comments. They're not even questioning. They're just saying like, oh, did you choose to, or did it happen? Like, no one's questioning you, but yeah, good job. You made a choice. That's beautiful, man. Expert Cheek Clapper says, hello, everyone. Hello, my friend. How you going? See, even Carrie's being nice to you. She's saying, hey, how come you don't want to talk about it? Like, are you good with the decision? Like, are you okay? You're going to say, it was 9 years ago. I felt really controlled. I still do to some extent. And at the time, I didn't think any woman would want to go home with me without having some ulterior motive. But I never wanted kids. Yeah, look, we won't get super deep on this. Maybe we can talk about this tomorrow if any of you care. But yeah, I used to have this same fear. Hey, I didn't trust women, and a lot of women don't trust men. It's like a very common thing in dating. I was like, all women are trying to like I literally thought women. Oh god, I had such like crazy notions now that I think about it. But they're not crazy because Phoenix, you had the same fear. I had this fear that like some woman was going to go home with me, having casual sex from like a bar or like Tinder or whatever. She'd come to my house, and then she'd like poke holes in my condom or something, or that I would throw the condom in the trash, and then when I was in the bathroom, she would pull it out of the trash and somehow like scoop my fucking manhood out of the condom and impregnate herself with it. Like insane, irrational fears now that I think about it. But at the time, I had read a lot of like anti-female rhetoric. I had read a lot of what's called the red pill, and a lot of them were like, women are trying to always like accuse a man of false rape accusations, and women are always trying to impregnate themselves and get kids and then force you to pay for it, and women are trying to ruin every man's life. And like, I really took that shit hook, line, and sinker. It was like cult-like rhetoric that they were spewing, and I bought it completely. That wasn't. No, if I'm honest, that was a big part of why I got my vasectomy. I never wanted kids. The same thing you said, Phoenix. Like, I always knew I was going to get a vasectomy at some point. Like, that was on the cards already. I'd thought about that from when I was like 16 or 15. I was like, yeah, one day I'll get a vasectomy. I don't want kids. Like, I just will. I knew that early on. But the same as you, brother, I really bought that crazy cult-like rhetoric, and I was like, all women are out to get men. Like, they're creeping around trying to fucking screw men over. Lots of women feel like that too. Like, a lot of women think that all men are just part of the patriarchy and they're out there to screw women over. Like, I thought that shit. And so, yeah, I can definitely relate to you with this, Phoenix. Like, brother, yeah, man, I know. Yeah, like you said, dude, yeah, like, I was worried about holes in condoms. Yeah, dude, like, how insane were we back then? And that's okay. We were innocent. We just didn't know any better. But, like, man, how insane were we, dude? We had some crazy. Yeah, Chad, yes, that fear that you just said. Like a woman is going to steal your sperm. And now you listen to it and you're like, that's insane. Like, that's actually insane. But again, that's like so many women are like afraid of that too. They're like, if I walk anywhere near a man, as soon as he's alone with me, he's going to rape me. And any man listening to that would be like, why would I rape you? You're not even attractive. And not that I would rape someone attractive, but like, what? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But you get caught up in your own fears and you start to believe them. And I was paranoid about that shit. I was really paranoid. So, yeah, Phoenix, thank you for sharing, dude. Like, and Chad, thank you as well, man. It's funny, these irrational, insane fears that we have, hey? And if any of you have that fear, I'm not saying that you're irrational. You're very welcome to share. And I promise we won't mock you. I won't call you insane. But yeah, I understand. I was there. Imi, everyone, that's my girlfriend. Imi says, morning, it's Imi from Hong Kong. Hello, Imi from Hong Kong. I showed everyone your ball pit that had boobs in it, and I showed them the art gallery you went to, and that's it. Hello. Also, I love you. I love you very much. Thanks. All right. Any other comments I'm reading through? yeah, that's about it. All right, I appreciate all of you coming. Tomorrow, let's bring our A game, no more B game. And I tell you, it'll be fun. Yesterday, I gave all of you the little challenge at the end of this thing and said, if any of you have any like goals that you're working on, you all have goals you're working on. Take like a little baby step and then bring that tomorrow and share that victory with all of us. Oh, I forgot to share my baby step. Okay, this is going to sound like a funny baby step, but I didn't technically do this yesterday. So I guess I have to share a baby step that I did yesterday, don't I? Okay, I stuck to my keto diet and my weight went down a little bit. That's what I did in the last 24 hours. So anyway, tomorrow, bring little baby steps, little victories. We'll celebrate them at the start and then bring any of your questions and all of that. One final thing, Expert Sheet Clapper says, I used to hold condoms up to the light inspecting for holes, like I discovered a new fossil or something. The paranoia is real. I know, I used to do the same shit, and it's actually insane when I think back to it. I used to like flush condoms down the toilet, which is probably not great for the freaking like environment, but I was like, I can't put it in the trash can because what if she goes in there and like, when I look back on it, it's like, that's really adorable. Like, am I really the person that a woman would want to have a baby with anyway? Like, at that point in my time, I was literally going through like my hoe phase where I was just hooking up with people within like 15 minutes of meeting them. But damn, yeah, I used to be super paranoid. Emmy, talking about that museum you went to, says it was heaps of fun and I love you. Wait, who are you talking to, Emmy? Who are you responding to when you say you love you? You gotta be more specific. Maybe you're talking to everyone. Actually, we love the audience. We love all of you, so she might be talking to all of you. Phoenix says, got any cool recipes? Basically what Obvious Throwaway just said, steak, and more steak. Yeah, like that's me. Except I like pork. I eat a shitload of pork. He goes on to say, lots of cream, cheese, spices, beef. You little fatty. Holy shit, I love that. That's amazing. Cream, okay, I see cream as dessert now. I'm on keto, and I've been on keto for, I don't know, like 3 months or something. I see cream as dessert now. Like literally it's fucking dessert. So, and same with cheese. Cheese is like my indulgence. Otherwise I would just eat pork, lots of pork, occasionally steak, occasionally a bit of lamb or something. But yeah, I'm mostly just eating meat. And I'll have like protein bars here and there. I like those little like protein bar shit, but yeah. Fish and cream. Oh yeah, that'd be nice. Obvious throwaway, what the fuck? You're at 4,230 calories. That's like got to be more than double what I'm eating. That's incredible. You're probably like hitting the gym like crazy. That's amazing. That's cool. Fish is dessert too. Absolutely. Pork fan, you're allowed in Germany. We produce so much pork. We're the only country that has the McRib year round. Amazing. That's nice. I like the McRib. Lots of people don't. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll finish up. I love all of you. Much love to all of you. You're doing a great job. Bring those little victories, those tiny little baby steps tomorrow. And guess what I'm going to go and do, everybody? Holy shit, I'm going to go play VR. I'm going to go have a blast in my VR setup, sitting over there waiting for me. See y'all. I'm going to play VR. Whatever your goals might be, whether that's money, relationships, sex and dating, fitness, health, friendships, whatever, we are here to help you make those beautiful goals come to life. Ed did it. Taylor did it. Harry did it. None of them are special. If you're listening to this, you know you're capable of more than you're currently giving. You already want something more than what everybody else around you seems to be content with. You want to achieve more, be more, give more to the world. You know it, and I know it. You're destined for something beautiful. Click the link to the coaching in the description below, and let us help you get there. Happiness starts today.